A user insisted their wireless monitor was broken because it needed a power cord, by USCR1KMILO. I work for a company that provides IT support for several small businesses. Yesterday, I got a ticket from a user with the simple description, "Monitor won't turn on." I called them, and we started the usual basic troubleshooting. "Can you check if the power button is lit?" I asked. "No, it's completely dark," they replied. "Okay, let's check the power cable. Is it firmly plugged into the back of the monitor and into the wall outlet?" There was a long pause. Then, the user said, in a tone of utter confusion, "What power cable?" I patiently explained that all monitors need a power cable to function. The user then hit me with a line I will never forget, "But it's a wireless monitor. That's the whole reason I requested it. I don't want any cables." I had to take a deep breath. "Sir," I said, "the wireless capability refers to the video signal, which can be received wirelessly from a compatible computer. It does not mean the monitor itself runs on magic. It still needs electricity to power the screen, the wireless receiver, and the backlight." He was genuinely indignant. "Well, that's false advertising. What's the point of it being wireless if I still have to plug it into the wall? I might as well have a cable for the video too." I spent another 10 minutes explaining the fundamental difference between data transmission and power delivery. In the end, I had to dispatch a field technician to simply plug a power cord into the wall. The tech reported that the user watched the entire process with a skeptical look, as if we were performing some kind of dark ritual. Sometimes, I wonder how we ever transitioned from the abacus to the microchip. The Windows 11 upgrade, by user taken_out_goose. One time a friend asked me if I could come over the weekend and help fix the Wi-Fi. I said sure, and we agreed on a time and day. I go over, fix the Wi-Fi, nice and easy. I had some free time left, so I asked if he wanted me to upgrade his PC to Win11 since he was still playing on 10. "Oh, it doesn't support 11. "What do you mean it doesn't support 11? I asked. "You built it just a few months ago. It's all new hardware. It should have no problems running 11. So I checked, and sure enough, PC Health Check said it didn't support secure boot. That's odd, I thought. Checked the motherboard specs. It did support secure boot. I entered the BIOS, set secure boot instead of legacy, and restarted. Didn't boot. Okay. Reverted and booted it back up. Then I tried to check if the boot partition was okay and if everything needed for secure boot was enabled. It was all correct. Okay, now what? I tried to update the BIOS and it failed. Tried to boot in safe mode. Didn't work. I tried every I could and I still stared perplexed at the screen for almost an hour. And then I had the idea to maybe check the partition type on the boot drive. It was MBR. Edit: to those who don't know, there are two main boot partition types, master boot record, and GUID partition table. For secure boot, you need the latter, GPT. Turns out, he asked a friend who was tech savvy and regularly did such things to help build his PC and install Windows on it. Nobody in their right mind would install Windows with MBR on a modern system in the past decade. Alright then, quick fix. Admin PowerShell and WinRoot. MBR to GPT. Enter BIOS, set secure boot and upgrade. Lesson learned: never take GPT for granted or assume that the guy who worked on something before you knew what they were doing and didn't make mistakes. Later I got to meet this friend. Turns out, that he most usually installed cracked versions of Windows for people, for which he needed MBR to install, and my friend had a legitimate key, he used MBR out of habit. Monitor in the box, by user Xtheatratiki. About a week ago a user was retiring. This user and I were friendly with each other, so I was kinda bummed they were leaving. They brought back everything in the boxes we gave them for remote work. I go to open the damned monitor box and the entire fucking thing explodes open, scaring the shit out of me, and nearly launches the monitor off the table just for me to barely catch it from sliding off my table. The user didn't know how to take off the monitor from the stand/base, so they just pushed the monitor to the lowest height, compressing the shit out of the spring base, and threw it into the monitor box it originally came in, creating a makeshift jack in the box. After figuring out what the fuck had happened, I went to tell the user so we could share a laugh one last time. I need Linux, by user burning_bridges 222. We are a Windows shop, so everything is all centered around Microsoft, of course. The company I work for is primarily office workers, so day to day they are doing data entry, responding to emails, drafting documents and presentations. There is a small contingent of software developers that have a legitimate need for Linux, and they happily use it day to day, but they are our power users. Lately, we've started to see a bit of a trend of general office workers asking to use Linux. I don't know where they get their info from, but they generally tell me it's easier, it's more private. Sure, those are great points, but I'm not sure how relevant they are to your everyday data entry person, especially when they're company laptops. We have a general policy of enabling people with the tools they need, but it's up to them to decide what that means. Despite my cautions to these reasonably non-technical folk, they insisted on a Ubuntu install on their XPS laptops. So, similar to the software devs, I provisioned AD, onboarded them and sent them on their merry way. I've only set up 3 office workers with this setup so far, but my ticket queue now looks a little something like this. Weirdly, Microsoft Office doesn't run on these Linux laptops. Now, I've given them the usual spiel of using Office Online, etc. Alas, my warning's fallen on deaf ears. A couple of managers have contacted the support heads and asked why we've broken these people's laptops. I think I need to draft a waiver for wannabe Linux users. OneDrive makes me want to die, by user Gondolf95. So I have forever been against OneDrive's classic "I'm gonna move all of your documents, downloads, desktop, pictures folders into OneDrive and call it a backup, even though if you disconnect OneDrive, it gets removed." SharePoint and KFM. Known folder move is the business alternative that redirects those folders to a hidden directory in OneDrive to make it less confusing. So now the documents directory looks like this. C/user/documents. Instead of C/users/OneDrive/documents. Which you would see on a consumer PC with OneDrive. Also, inside OneDrive for Business there is now just folder ABCDEF, not ABCDEF, documents, downloads, desktop etc. A customer who left a company a year ago wanted to completely remove all traces or said company's O365, and OneDrive. Simple enough, I thought. I also thought she should have done this a year ago. We signed out of her OneDrive, and poof. All of her stuff gone. I thought I did my due diligence by checking inside OneDrive and checking folder paths, but I didn't know about KFM. Here's the kicker. The customer stopped OneDrive running at startup when she left the company, so nothing was actually backing up to OneDrive even though it was saved there locally. That OneDrive directory got deleted after disconnecting it, and boom. All data nuked. No backups because the custom is stupid. Just a warning to other techs. Always make a backup before disconnecting OneDrive. Even if you think you're safe, you're not.